Om. 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om everybody. So last week we had seen from verse 19 onwards, where in 19, an important verse where Bhagwan gives us the importance of samatha, equanimity, and the reason he gives is nirdosham hi samam brahma. Brahma is sama. So if we want to become Brahman, we need to be sama as well, equanimous in all situations towards all people. Being equanimous doesn't mean that we treat a Brahmin and somebody else like the same way. Of course, we have to recognize the fact that because we have seen in the previous verse where the realized master sees the oneness in a Brahmin, a cow and everything, but a cow is to be treated as a cow and Brahmin as a Brahmin. Like you wouldn't get the elephant inside your house and make him sit on the sofa and pray to him. Not like that. That is not samatvam. But to understand that there is that underlying substratum which is the same in all, that is what it is. That is what is meant by samatha. And in our personal case, equanimity towards joys and sorrows. These are the two things that come to us. So both, that is even more important so for us. And the reason is given is that Brahma is sama and it is blemishless, it is nirdosha. So yesham same sthitam mana, when the mind comes to rest in that equanimity, we will rest in Brahman. Means we will also be much closer. We are actually not even close to Brahman, we are Brahman, but we will get that abidance. And I gave you the example, if you're holding on to a lighthouse, you can remain steady. If you hold on to a log of wood, you're going to be going up and down all the time. And what happens when I do this? What happens when I do this is verse 20, that is what is given. So when an unwanted thing comes to us, we will remain the same. And when wanted, because these are the two things that are coming, whatever is coming is either we like it or we don't like. That's it. It's bottom line is like or dislike. So, and both will come. It is not like every time something that we like comes, every time something that we don't like. That is not happening in anybody's life. So when both things come, I remain equal. This is what happens. Sthira buddhi asammodaha. Sthira buddhi, the one whose intellect is sthira. Sthira coming from stha dhatu, staying firmly at one place, abiding firmly at one place, and that is Brahman. Then he is considered as a knower of Brahman. If he is steady in his intellect, then he becomes a Brahmavid. He knows Brahman, and knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Upanishad says there is nothing like knowing an outside object. There is a knowing, physics, driving, cooking. That is an outside object. But when it comes to Brahman, there is nothing to know Brahman. You are Brahman, which you don't know right now. So you will come to know that you are Brahman. This is what. So he says that he doesn't get disturbed by things, unwanted things, which he didn't want. Those things, when they come, he doesn't get disturbed. And then in resting in the bahya sparsheshu asaktatma, unattached to the external contact. See, if we go on indulging in the world, getting dispassion is going to be very difficult, because we are constantly engaged in the outside world. Therefore, it is in our benefit to get more and more detached from the outside world through knowledge. Detachment should not come out of hatred. I hate the world and I don't want to be with them. Not that. We are not talking of that hate. Detachment through knowledge. And what is the knowledge? Is that I was thinking that my happiness is there. It is not there. That is the exact knowledge that we need to have. We can go and indulge. We can go, not indulge, but we can go and enjoy. But know that that is not a permanent happiness. That is what he says in the next verse. So here he says that once we get detached from the external world, the only thing remains is the internal world. And then we will find that Akshay Sukha, we will realize that Akshay Sukha, the undecaying bliss, is inside only. I thought it was outside, and therefore I was running outside. Now that I've stopped running outside, I find that, oh, I am peaceful. I am at peace. Most people, our idea of happiness is when the senses get excited. That's what, oh, so happy, I'm so happy to see you, so happy to hear this, so happy to eat that. And the senses are getting tickled, and we think that is happiness. Actual happiness is in peace. When your mind is in peace, P-E-A-C-E, not P-I-E-C-E, not in pieces, in peace. When your mind is at peace, that is what is real happiness. That is the bliss of Brahman, the peacefulness. And the peacefulness comes when your mind is not shaking with anything that is coming outside. So we need to get detached from there. We come to abide more and more internally. We come to enjoy that peace. And once we get used to enjoying that peace, we don't want this little things happening outside, little shock here, we don't want that. And the reason that this person is there, he says that he knows, next verse, that's what Bhagavan says, he knows that these pleasures, because it is not even actually happiness, it's pleasure, is Adi and Anta. It has a beginning and it has an end. So in the womb of every happiness that I get from objects, in the womb is sorrow, because that object which was giving me happiness today will not give me happiness after a while. And look at your own experiences. And that's why I told you, otherwise garage sale would never have happened anywhere. It can't happen, because you bought that object 20 years ago. You love it the same today. Why will you sell it? That's what I'm saying. Think of your own. You don't need Shastra Gita to tell it. Look at your own. Look at your house. Is there everything in your house that you just love the way you loved it when you bought it? It can't be. It can't be. Or something that all of us, we would have gone through some sorrow at all in our life. Is it the same intensity of pain that you feel today after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? At that time, you felt very intense pain. Do you feel the same? So that's why he says that it is this, the wise man knows. As seekers, we should also know it. So okay, I'm enjoying this, but know that this is going to end. And I should not have a longing for it, because that is what is binding me. This is the knowledge that we have to hold on to right now. We are not realized, okay? But we are studying the Bhagavad Gita. So what is Bhagavan trying to say is, Bhagavan is not saying don't enjoy. Enjoy, but know that it is going to end. Know that let me not have a longing for it. And you know what the knowledge should be? If it is meant for me, it will come to me again. So why I should long for it and create a vasana for myself? Because of my previous karmas, this enjoyment will come again to me. So let go. You enjoy and you let go. You suffer and you let go also. Because suffering also will come. Only enjoyment can't come. Only suffering can't come. Both will come. So whatever happens, enjoy it, suffer it in the present moment, and drop it. And no, in destiny, because even suffering, we say, I don't want it. I don't. You know what? If it is meant, it will come. So what is the point in saying, I don't want it? Because when you keep saying, I don't want this, I don't want this, you're creating a groove, you're creating a vasana for yourself. So say neither, and then carry on in life. This is a account. The wise men, Buddha, they don't revel in this happiness, knowing that it has a beginning and it has an end. And in the womb of every happiness, there is sorrow. It's the person, young people, when they start smoking in high school or whatever, the first cigarette gives them great pleasure, like, I don't know. I have not experienced, so I don't, but that is what it is. But once when they get addicted, then what happens to them? Then how much misery there is if they won't get it, right? So that is what this is. So be detached from, this is what the teaching. Now, so far, the teaching was with regard to the upadhi. Now he's going to say, when we do all that, what happens now from 24 to 29, and 29 is the real end of the teaching of this chapter. Not 29, sorry, 24, 25, and 26, 27. So 24 to 27 is now the description of the supreme reality. Again, resting, the one, what sort of a man resting in Brahman attains Brahman. So this is a description of Brahman. Yonta sukhontara ramaha tatha tathantarjyotireva sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhigacchati. He who is happy within, who rejoices within, who is illuminated within, that yogi attains absolute freedom or moksha, himself becoming Brahman. In the first line, there are three words that yaha is there. Yaha is he, the last word. Yaha antaha sukhaha. That is the first thing. Yaha antaha aramaha. And then yaha antaha jyotireva. These are the three things. And this anta, one meaning of anta is end, but this is antara. Antara means inner, inside, within. That is the meaning of that word antayar. Now, yaha, he who is sukhi inside, happy within himself. So that becomes an expression of ananda. See, we are that Satchit Ananda. Brahman is Satchit Ananda, right? So the expression of that ananda is the person who is within himself, he is happy in spite of anything outside, where he is peaceful. That's why inside there is no objects which will give him pleasure. Within there is nothing like that. So if he is happy within himself, then he is expressing ananda from that Satchit Ananda within, not outside. Actually, even when we enjoy something outside, and we feel happy, it is actually the happiness only from inside, from Brahman, because happiness is there only in Brahman. It is not there in the object. But what happens is, when I get that object that I like and I feel happy, I assign it to that object, and that is what is delusion. That is incorrect thinking. I think that this object gave me happiness. What is happening is I get that object which I like, and for a moment my mind quietens and the happiness from within shines forth and I feel happy. So even the happiness that I'm getting from outside objects is actually coming from inside. I don't recognize it. Now this person has recognized that, so that outside object doesn't mean much to him. Doesn't mean much to him. He says, no, from inside, I am the source of happiness. He is recognizing it. Therefore, there is yaha antaha sukha. So that anta, remember, it is not end, it is inner. And then yaha antaha aramaha. Aramaha is rest. Aram, in Marathi, Hindi, it's Sunday, aram today, like rest. So he's resting in peace, expression of Sat. As an expression of Sat. He exists in peace, because peace is what Brahman is. Brahman is all peaceful. So when we are arama within ourselves, I'm alone, I'm happy within myself. It is an expression of Sat. And then yaha anta jyoti, light, consciousness. So there is this direct knowledge, and then that is expressing, that is an expression of the consciousness aspect of Brahman. So such a person, Bhagavan says, Saha yogi, he is a yogi. Yogi coming from Yuj, one who has joined to Brahman, Brahma Nirvanam Adhigachati, Brahma Bhuto Adhigachati goes. Gachati is goes. So Adhigachati is going. That Adhigachati goes with Brahma Nirvanam Adhigachati, Brahma Bhuto Adhigachati. So Brahma Nirvanam, this word Nirvana was used by Lord Buddha. Gautam Buddha used the word Nirvana. So let's see what this Nirvana means. Nir is a prefix which means no, without. Nir is without. Vana, one interpretation of Vana is Bana. Bana is arrow, an arrow of ignorance. The reason that we are miserable or unhappy, or only like sometimes happy, sometimes miserable, is because we have been pierced by the arrow of ignorance. So Bana. Now Nirbana means without that arrow of ignorance, I will be always happy. That's one meaning. So that's why Nirvana means moksha only. So there is no arrow of ignorance. The other meaning of Vana is fire. So the fire of ignorance is what is making me miserable. I am, agitated, like I'm burning inside. We say, inside my blood is boiling, burning, anger. And why is all those negative things? Because in happiness, we don't say my blood is boiling with happiness. We don't say blood boils when I'm angry, when I'm miserable, when I'm agitated. So this is the fire of ignorance which is burning us. Right now, it is the fire of ignorance which is burning us. And ignorance is all out. First of all, I don't know who I really am. Secondly, I think the world is real. Thirdly, I think the happiness is in the world. All these things. The world is something different from me. I am different from everything else. All this fall under this fire of ignorance. And because of this fire, I am miserable. Now, nirvana, without this fire of ignorance, without this arrow of ignorance, what am I? I am Brahman only. Brahma bhuto adhigachati. Bhu to become. So he becomes Brahman, but I told you, becomes, we should not take it, he was not Brahman first and then no. Becomes Brahman is he comes to recognize himself as Brahman. That has to be understood, because we are Brahman even right now. I repeat that 100 times because people forget. People think I am not Brahman and I will become Brahman. That is an absolutely deluded thought. That is a wrong thought. Okay. I am already Brahman, but I don't know, because I have the arrow of ignorance which has pierced me, or the fire of ignorance that is burning me. Because of that, I don't know. So when I become Nirvana, without that fire, without that arrow, I am Brahman. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Mundaka Upanishad, it comes in. It says the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. There is nothing to know Brahman. It is not me. It is me. It is me, myself. And that is what this is. So he attains absolute freedom or moksha. Okay, this is what this meaning is, the verses. Then what happens? Moreover, Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaidhayatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. Those rishis obtain absolute freedom or moksha, whose sins have been destroyed, whose dualities are torn asunder, who are self-controlled and intent on the welfare of all beings. So those rishis, literally rishi means a seer, okay, the one who sees. What does he see is the question. So what he sees is verse 18 in chapter 4. And what is verse 18? Seeing action in inaction and inaction in action. That is verse 18. That is that the one who sees that is a rishi. Verse 18 in this chapter, what is that? Where a Brahmin, a cow, elephant, dog, and dog eater are same. So Samyak Darshan. So the rishi is one who is a seer. And what is he seeing? Because we are also seers. We are also seeing. We see only differences. That's all we can see. We cannot see anything else. We only see the negative side of things. But a rishi is one who sees that substratum in all actions that are happening, who sees the substratum in all the people, all the animals, everything, everybody that he meets. So he's seeing that. And he also sees that the source of happiness, knowledge, everything is inside, within. So yah anta sukha, yah anta jyotihi, yah anta aramaha, that is what he's seeing. We don't see that. We don't see that in happiness is inside. We think it is outside. Knowledge is outside. All the things we think is outside of us. So Rishi is one who sees these three things. Madhusudan Saraswati ji's commentary on this one, like not commentary, but tika, a commentary on the commentary. He says Rishi is a person who has purified all his impurities through action, because these chapters are for action. That's why he interprets it that way, which is also correct. That interpretation also right. Rishi is one. So we have hope. We can also do karma yoga and purify ourselves. And then, so we have hope. See, every verse has to be understood. What can I do? It's not just, and oh, there is this Rishi who sees all this. Okay, he's a Rishi and I'm, no, that is not. The reason we are studying is, what do I do to close this gap? Okay, so Madhusudan Saraswati says Rishi. Okay, now, what does he get? Brahma Nirvana. And Nirvana word we have seen. So he is without that ignorance of fire of ignorance or arrow of ignorance, whatever, he's without that. He has gained Brahma. And through Kshina Kalma. So there are four things here that are happening to that Rishi. One is Kshina Kalmashaha. Second is Chinna Dvaida. So we'll see these words. Then Yatatmanaha and Sarva Bhuta Hite Ratha. So there are four things that are happening to him or have happened to him, because of which he has become Brahma Nirvanam. He has become Nirvana. He's without this ignorance or fire of ignorance or arrow of ignorance. Kshina Kalmashaha, impurities. Kalmasha, even in chapter 2, Bhagavan said, where is this impurity coming in your mind? So bottom level impurity, Rajas, Tamas. Kshina, decaying, where his impurities, where he has purified his mind through Karma Yoga, considering only these three chapters. Then Madhusudan Saraswati ji's definition comes into play, that within this chapter, okay, within these three chapters, he has purified himself through Karma Yoga and all his impurities are now gone. So there is a predominance of Sattva in his mind. Because of which, Chinna Dvaida, this word has to be under. Chinna, destroyed, cut asunder. Dvaida, dualities. That's why I told you, what we see, we are constantly seeing the dualities, constantly. Therefore, the Rishi is one who has that Samyak Darshana, verse 18, this same chapter. He has that equal vision, no matter what he sees, whether he sees Sattva, Rajas or Tamas, he knows that all three are supported by the same substratum. Remember, it is only Brahman who is supporting Tamas also. It is not like Brahman is not supporting Tamas because it is bad, or all three from the highest level are bad because they all bind. Understand that. But he sees that substratum. Now, he also dualities. He doesn't see the world. He doesn't see the world as different from himself. He doesn't see all these different objects giving him happiness. All these things are there. Okay, up to here, if you have understood, that's fine. This verse is understood. I'm going to go a bit deeper, so some of you will catch it. It's okay. Now, this Chinna Dvaida, see, in Panchadashi of Swami Vidyaranya, and also there's another text called Tripura Rahasya. What is Chinna Dvaida is explained in a little bit subtle form. So what is said there is, we have all experienced dream, right? And we have experienced waking state also. Hopefully all of us are awake right now. Anyway, in dream, whatever that you see and you experience in dream, every emotion that you experience in the waking state, correct? And not every night in dream, but sometime in your life, like I have experienced fear, I have cried, I have felt happy, I have eaten food, I have, done all, everybody, I'm not saying every night that, but is it okay? Then when we wake up, we immediately realize, oh, that was an illusion. That was all false. It was, and everything was experienced through the mind. Correct? In dream, what is the dream phenomena? The mind only is the screen. The mind only is projecting whatever. So if you see a tiger, it is your own mind. If you see God, it is your own mind. If you see whatever, it is your own mind. And whatever emotions are going, it is your own mind. So all things are happening through the mind. Now let's come to the waking state. What is happening in the waking state? How do number one, I have all those emotions, right? Even in the waking state, not every day I will be happy and jealous and angry, and not every day, but throughout my life, I have had emotions through my mind, and all the emotions which I have experienced in dream, right? Same, happy, sorrow, jealous, angry, greedy, lusty, passionate, whatever emotions throughout my life, at some point and other, I have experienced through the mind. Am I experiencing in the waking state something with my hand or my eyes or my body? No, everything is. So the entire waking world, which is nothing but the triad, the knower, known, and the knowing triad, is experienced through the mind. Now, dream, I immediately say that's an illusion because it was experienced through the mind. Waking is also experienced through the mind. Why is that real? Why is that real? How is it real? How can it be real? Everything that happens in the dream, same thing is happening in the waking state. Same thing. It is the experiences only through the mind. In the dream as well as in the waking. And now dream, I have labeled it as an illusion. Doesn't matter, whatever happened in the dream, it was an illusion. It doesn't matter. But waking state, anything happens, how much does it matter to us? If I feel hurt, if I feel this, if I feel whatever, everything is very real. Why? Why? Aitareya Upanishads, therefore they say there are no three states. They say there are only two states. What are the two states? Dream and deep sleep. That's it. They do not consider waking state as a waking state because the rishis, the realized masters, they say, and Mandukya Upanishad is the one which is the highest. It says, Upanishad says, this is a dirgha swapna that we are going through, an elongated dream, and everybody is dreaming. So everybody thinks this is real. All of us are in this dream. And this dream will end when I reach that fourth state, which is Turiya. Now, if I even start giving less and less reality to the waking world, okay, this Chinna Dvaita is fulfilled. That is what Chinna Dvaita is. That is what I am not giving as much reality to the dualities that I am experiencing in the waking world as I used to before. So as spiritual seekers, we must not pay that much importance. See, everything that happens, it has its own place, it has its own importance, okay? But only that much, that importance should not be blown out of proportion. That is, see, we have to have sadhana for us also. That is the mission. We are not there. We are not there. What can I do? First of all, abide in the knowledge. And that's why we need these repeated satsangs and repeated hammering. We saw, those of you who have heard Vivek Chodamani, how many times Bhagwan has said it, right? So we need that. So at least let's abide. We are not realized, but let's abide and, and use it when you are hurt. You must be able to come out of your misery with the help of this knowledge. With the help of that time, you bring that knowledge in. Understood? Is it making sense? You bring the knowledge in there and get out. That's why in chapter 6, Bhagavan will say, lift yourself by yourself, because understand that there is nobody else who can do it for you. So it's your misery. It's your mind. Your mind has to come help your own mind, means there it's the higher mind. So intellect has to help the mind to come out of that misery. And how does the intellect do that? Is by abiding in the knowledge that, okay, this is happening to my body. Okay, this person said something and it hurt me. Who got hurt? Ego got hurt. So my ego is very strong. Why am I feeling miserable? What, these are the questions that we need to ask. And you will come, the whole answer then comes to ego only. Otherwise, there's no answer. So this is what Chinnadvaida is. So either this is a little deeper thought, but that's okay. But at least try to gain the vision that we have studied in here. Okay, that is what. Yatatmanaha is a person who has full vigilance over all faculties. Full vision. Yatatmana, Atma here is not pure consciousness. It is your body, sense organs, mind, speech. So when there is full vigilance and full control, so for those of us who are studying chapter 18, pravritti, nivritti, when to engage, when to disengage, this person is very clear about that. Am I supposed to talk here? Am I supposed to give advice here? Am I supposed to do this? Should my sense organs be indulging? Should my organs of action be, doing this? Like, why am I doing what am I doing? Becomes very important. That's why I've always told you, whatever you do, you must have a correct why for it. You must correct, not why alphabet, WHY, reason for it, reason for doing it. So when you really look into the reason, then am I doing this to satisfy my ego? And when that sort of thought comes, then you need to be able to let go and not feel miserable about letting go. The perfect example is when you have surgery and then the doctor is telling you rest, you must be able to rest, knowing that this is what my body needs right now. Otherwise, that is the time when people want to phone 100 people and then what is this? I'm getting bored and they really, where is the TV? Why the TV guy is not coming? The TV is not working. There's a TV in the hospital room, right? That is not the time. That is not the kind of your mind is then not at peace. Why can't I go out? I'm just confined to this. Arey Baba, this has happened to your body. So now just okay, accept it and go on and be peaceful. That is Yatatman, the one who doesn't get agitated because of these things. When told that these things cannot be done, you cannot do this because your body is this way or whatever the reason. So you should not be able to, that is Yatatmana. For us, this is for us. For the realized master, he's like totally in that, right? So for this. Now, last one, very important, Sarva Bhuta Ite Rataha. Bhuta, again, word is used. And I've told you, when Bhuta word is used, it means all beings. It is not just human beings. So Manusha or Nara, when it is used in Bhagavad Gita, both these words we will hear, we have heard also. So in the welfare of all, he revels in the welfare of all beings. And the reason that this is happening to him is because of that Samyak Darshan which he has got. I told you, what is he seeing? He's seeing equanimity in everything. So he will not hurt even an animal, because even in Sandipani, Gurudev has given instructions, it seems, that there are snakes in there. In Sandipani in Bombay. In the rainy season, we would actually see the snake hanging from the tree up. The brahmacharis would say, did you look up? There was a snake hanging from there. There is, because he has said not to kill the snakes. Because Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, rebelling, because knowing that it is part of Bhagwan only, creation. Now, that is his vision, because he is the Rishi. Now we have studied this. So how do we apply? This is what I was thinking. How do I applied, sir, reveling in the good of all people or all beings at our stage, things that I have myself heard and experienced. One thing that I heard way back, my mortgage is paid off. Who cares if the mortgage rates go up? As spiritual seekers, we must not have this sort of a thought. We must think, oh, thank God, my mortgage is paid off, but I feel bad for those. Even now I feel, because suddenly the rates have gone up and people are fine. I mean, one of my friends, he asked me, I said, no, I don't. He said, my God, you're so lucky. He said, my bank called me, his bank called him and told him that the payment is not even enough for the interest. Forget the principal. It is not enough, he said. So suddenly it went up $2,000 a month or something, his mortgage. So if now he told me this, do I feel happy? Oh, good, I paid you. Okay. Do I feel that way, or do I feel, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry that is, then if I feel bad for this person or whoever friend, then this sarva bhuta hite rataha is fulfilled. I am not reveling, but at least I'm not feeling good that somebody else cannot afford to pay his or her mortgage. Okay. Next thing of sarva bhuta hite rataha is recycling. Now recycling has become a big issue. Huge issue. Am I using the plastic bags so I can use them as now nobody's giving plastic bags anyway, which is good. But for years, I've been using cloth. In India, we used to use cloth bags only. Then they went into plastic. Then in my childhood, there were only cloth bags, as I remember. Then all this plastic came because of this. Then this huge thing happened in Bombay, and now everybody's going recycling. So am I really sincerely recycling things? That is sarva. See, people are saying, oh, especially my age, I've lived my life, who cares, now. But remember that we are leaving our children and grandchildren on this earth. So we should not just think of ourselves. Sarva bhuta hite rataha means you think even, what about my child? If I leave this earth as a better place, then it will be better for my child and his child and whatever, right? So if we are thinking, therefore, recycling also becomes very important. The third thing now with COVID, especially, I find wastage of food. Am I like, oh, third day, I just throw food. This is all I have heard this from people. That's why these thoughts came. Now, what is this sarva bhuta hite rata means? What does it mean to me? Because that is very important. Because the whole purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita is to bring about an inner change. So realization, liberation, nirvana and all is far away. But right now, what can I do? So food wastage, don't be proud and say, oh, means, I am so, I just throw food away on the third. Don't waste food. Don't waste food. Especially food bank is constantly, like, there's so many people, right, who, because of COVID, always there was the food shortage. Then another thing I heard on Google the other day is that not everybody has enough drinking water in the world. How much water do we just throw? Don't throw water. Even when I come back from the gym and there's water in my, because I take a water thing, I pour it into my cup and I drink it throughout the day. Don't waste one. Try to do these things. As spiritual seekers, we should, now that we are reading this, we should be like this. This is what I'm telling you. It's up to you what you do or not do. So there are many things, like that. So that will fall under sarva bhuta hite, because we are now, I'm not wasting drinking water because there is so many people in the world who do. I have enough water. I am in Canada. Oh, who cares? There's 24-hour water, it's pure water, clean water, everything. I don't have to worry. But what about all those children in Africa or wherever, where they don't have? So for their sake, let me not waste drinking water. For their sake, let me not waste food. Let me just cook as much as I need, or whatever I don't need, then I keep it and, consume it, etc., etc. Right? So if we have these type of thoughts, then this sarva bhuta hite rataha, we are fulfilling to a certain extent. We are doing this through the intellectual knowledge that we have. We don't have that realization of oneness, but we have the intellectual knowledge, and based on that intellect, that knowledge in my intellect, I must not be doing these things. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so this is what Labhante he gets, this Rishi who is the seer, Brahma Nirmanam he gets. All his impurities are purified, which we can practice from chapter 3 onwards. I'm telling you, karma yoga, every karma to be done is karma yoga, to purify ourselves of rajas and tamas, so that sattva increases. When sattva increases, the chinna dvaida will become very easy to see less and less differences. If we see at one level, lower level, maybe not all of you have heard, I've told this, everybody's eyes see, no eye is hearing, like whether it is the animal eye or insect eye or whatever eye, it sees, see the oneness there. Everybody's nose smells. everybody's body is made out of the same elements. There is oneness. Then you go to the, if I identify myself as an Indian, then all of us are Indians. But if I say I am a Marathi, then, then suddenly I'm totally different from all of you. So rather than that, if we can say I'm an Indian, or I'm an Indo-Canadian or Canadian, then go to the level of the Jiva, where Jiva is the same in all. That is how we start seeing this Chinnadvaida becomes more and more clear. So less and less duality we see, less and less differences we see, Chinnadvaida. And the ultimate is, if you can equate dream and waking state, then that is the highest. That's a subtle level. Yatatmana, self-control, very important. Yatatmana will happen, self-imposed self-discipline. When we have a disciplined life, and that discipline is as per your schedule, okay? It is very, very individual. So whatever that is, if you remain in the parameters of the discipline that you yourself have set for yourself, then there will be self-control. Fasting is a very good example. Okay, this day I don't eat these things. So even if they come my way, I say, no, today is Monday. So this I won't eat. That's a self-imposed self-discipline. Like Ekadash, if I'm doing Ekadash, okay, now I can't do this, because I have only imposed it on myself that only this I'm going to eat. So I don't cross those parameters. So automatic self-control. So that's why the fast and all what we had in India is for this, to gain this self-control. At least on one day, let us control our senses. Let us control our tongue. Or even people do Maun Vrat, they don't talk. In Ahmedabad, there is a place, one of our Swaminis go there. For 1 month, they'll go and stay in a room, and then no contact with, no phone, nothing. And then only there's a window, and then the window opens and they keep the plate over there. They take the plate in, they eat. They put the empty plate on the window, and the window is shut down. And then you stay in one room for 1 month. Maun Vrat. That is to practice to become Yatatmana. So we can also do it. We don't have to go to that room somewhere. In our own home, we can practice that. Okay, we have to know every verse, how it applies to us and how I can benefit from it. That's why I'm telling you this. Okay, all right. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Absolute freedom or Brahmic bliss exists on all sides for those self-controlled ascetics who are free from desire and anger, who have controlled their thoughts and who have realized the self. So yatinam, yati is one who strives. Yatante iti yati. Yatante is to strive. So yati is one who is striving. For him, so we can also become yatis, okay? As spiritual seekers, we can become yatis. Kama, krodha, viyuktana. Without kama and krodha, I've told you, these are not two different things. They are same coin, two different sides. You control kama, krodha is automatically controlled. Krodha, anger, is always towards the obstacle. Kama is desire. It is a relationship that I have set up with the world of like and dislike. So when I have a relationship of like with some things, some object, person, situation, then I have desire for it to obtain it. And when I have a relationship of dislike for an object, person, or situation, I have a desire to run away from it. Both are desires. Running away is also desire, running towards. And that's what kamana is, a relationship that I have set up. We set up with the world. Now, if that attachment is, if I'm getting upset, if something is not there, it is absent, it's a positive attachment. But if I'm upset, see, if I don't like, and generally what I don't like, that person only will come to me, or that situation only will come. So what I don't like, if I come in contact with it, it's a negative type of attachment. Both have to be avoided. Both have to be. That's why it's a, any contact you come with, any object, person, situation, these are the three things. You have to remain equanimous. Now, this yati, this person is viyukta, he is without this kama. Okay, now for us, we cannot remain without kama, desire, because desire is a thought will come. So what we have to practice is that desire, that thought does not bother us. And therefore, in one of the previous verses, he says, the one who can control the vega, the force, the momentum. How do I control the momentum? See how it is there is a thought. If I go on nourishing that thought, now like fire, there's fire. Now I go on adding ghee to it, go on adding ghee to it. Fire is going to get inflamed, right? But if I don't add any wood, any more ghee, then that fire, at one point, it is going to die. The thought is also like that. I can either nourish the thought or I can starve it. And what is meant by nourishing is keep on, oh, that jacket, oh, so nice. I should have, why did I not buy it? Oh, I should have had my, if I go on thinking of that object, I am fueling it. So what is happening is that momentum is now increasing. But if I try to forget, forget it, you know what? It's okay. It's like, a guest comes to your house. Suppose now if you invite them, oh, come on in, let me make this for you, please have a seat, please consider. Now that guest is going to think, oh, I'm so important to this person, so I will come again and again. But if I totally ignore that guest, I'm just looking at my phone nowadays, this is what's happening, that's it, I'm checking my WhatsApp messages, then that guest is going to say, what is this? I came, she didn't even offer me a cup of tea. Forget it, I'm not coming. It's the same thing with the thought. Don't entertain the thought, the desire. Good thoughts you can, but normally a desire, when it comes, if you do not entertain it, you will starve it. It will fade. So Viyuktanam at this stage is not possible for us, but definitely it is possible for us to think whether this is a desire, do I really need this? Is it really good? Is it sarva bhuta hite rataha? I have a desire to throw food out, then I should think, but this is not correct. This shouldn't, it may be correct for me. I have a lot of food I'm rich enough and I have got a lot of groceries. What about those people who don't have food on their plates? Right? So that way you deal with this aspect called desire. Anger, you don't have to worry, because desire controlled, anger is automatically controlled. Anger is unfulfilled desire. Please remember, that is the definition of anger, is any desire which is not fulfilled, anger will come. Okay. And greed, fulfilled desire is greed. So greed also is the same thing, anger, greed, and kama. Kama first comes. Ramakrishna Paramahansa says this kama takes three expressions. So ka, right? Ka, kama. Ka, kamini, means opposite sex. Kamini. Kanchan. Kanchan is gold, so wealth. And kirti. So all ka. Kama. Kama expresses as kanchana, kamini, and kirti. Kirti is fame. These are the desires that we have. Or Bhagavan Shankaracharya says there are three desires, putreshana, vitteshana, and lokeshana. It's similar. So putreshana is progeny, desire for progeny. So I am worrying about my future, because usually I will have children and, oh, I have the thought that this child will look after me. So that putreshana is there. Vitteshana, wealth, is for the present, because I need money right now to live a comfortable life. Wealth. So that is vitteshana. So there's a desire in the present, there's a desire in the future. And lokeshana is desire for the next, means once I die and go, then people can remember me. So, once I go, that also people should remember me. That, that's why you see Jim Patterson building, Gordon and Leslie Diamond building, VGH. So that is what it is. They've done good. Okay. But from a Vedantic standpoint, as spiritual seekers, so if we can afford to do that, we should do, but we should not insist that my name should be flashed over there. I can do that, right? So that these are the three, or Ramakrishna Paramahansa very simply put it, Kamini, Kanchan, and Kirti. So you take your pick. So these are the three desires that we have. At our stage, it's okay for the desire to come. Let it not agitate you. Let your mind be at peace. And the surefire thing is, if it is meant for me, it will come to me. There's no way that it is going to go anywhere. Abide in this knowledge. Intellectually, you abide in this knowledge. It's okay, because right now we need to just sort of clarify our intellect. We have to have clear-cut ideas in our intellect. Okay. Yatinam yata chetas, mind intellect. So his mind completely under his control. Abhito, all around. Abhito means all around is said here, right? What is Bhagavan said? Gurudev has said, Abhito, Abhit, all sides. It's only two sides, while living and while dead. So while living, this person is a Jivan Mukta Purusha. He is. We are not, he is. And then when he drops the body, obviously he's merging with the pure consciousness. So there is Videha Mukti as well as Jivan Mukti. That is what Abhito Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam, I told you, Brahma. So moksha, absolute freedom, absolute moksha, absolutely no chance of rebirth. Vartate Viditatmanan. Those Vidita Atmanam. Vidita, to know, with dhatu. Those who have known Atman, there is nothing to know Atman. To know Atman is, and here Atman is pure consciousness, not mind or anything. Okay, so Vidita Atmanam. So one who knows this Atma, he has become Atma. So what happens is he becomes, because of Kama and Krodha are completely gone from his mind, absolutely no desires, absolute control over all self, organs of perception, organs of action. And then what happens is, even while he's in the body or he drops the body, he has attained Brahma Nirvanam. He has attained, this is the final. This is through karma. Karma to karma yoga, purification of the mind and Brahma. Now here, the teaching ends of this chapter. But as is Bhagwan's style, the next three verses, 27, 28, and 29, he will be introducing the next chapter, which is on meditation. This is how our story has gone now. Jiva, beginning as a miserable Jiva in chapter 1, Arjun, then Bhagwan giving him the highest knowledge, him not understanding, purely because of the reason that his mind was not purified, and therefore Bhagwan asking him to do action, and then in chapter 3 giving him a detailed explanation of how exactly actions are to be done in the form of karma yoga, which will then in chapter 4, which will start, as the mind gets purified, the knowledge starts arising in that mind, the correct knowledge. What is that knowledge? Verse 18, chapter 4, action and inaction. When in every action, then he will start seeing the substratum. When he's doing every action, in the beginning, karma yoga, doership is there. It is very real. It has to be surrendered. Chapter 4, that doership is now being understood as I am not the doer. In karma yoga, I am the doer, but yes, I am offering this doership. I'm surrendering it to the Lord, to a higher altar. Okay. Chapter 4, oh, I was surrendering the doership, but really I am not the doer. That is chapter 4. That is the vision of chapter 4, that I am really not the doer. That is what, when the mind purifies itself through karma yoga, this is the thing you'll start feeling. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I did nothing. That is chapter 4. And then in chapter 5, through renunciation of karma, then it is not that I am doing and then I'm surrendering and then, oh, I am not the doer. Then in 5, completely giving up all actions. Now, giving up all actions is not physical. In the mind, complete renunciation. So karma sannyasa through knowledge. Karma sannyasa through knowledge, karma. And now when that happens, when the mind has become absolutely quiet, why? Because what bothers us is desires or worries. Even worry is a desire, like what will happen in the future. There is a desire. I want a comfortable future. Then will I be comfortable in the future? Everybody wants a good death. Will I get a good death? Or what will happen to me? So all this is desire only. So when all those desires are gone, then the mind becomes ready for meditation. And therefore now in chapter 6, begin the principles of meditation. So the next Sunday, we will complete this chapter, which is 26th, right? No, today is 26th. And yes, next week there is a class, April 2nd, and I will send out the verses. I hope that all of you are eager and willing to do the discussion. Everybody's okay with that? Good, 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 good. I don't see Sugita saying yes or yes. Yeah, everybody raise that. Okay, I'm glad. Why Mr. Raman is not raising his hand? Okay, all right, all right. That is, Mananam is essential. Like I've told in one of the classes, it is not my idea, it is Gurudev's idea. And it is, we have to think about what the verses mean to us. We have to bring this teaching into our life. And therefore, the knowledge has to be stirred inside, like you add sugar to a cup of tea, you need to stir it before you start drinking the tea. So information, the scriptures give us, or the teacher gives us information. Confirmation is our responsibility. That information that I have given you of sarva bhuta hiterata, or whatever, kama krodha, apply it in your own mind. See how it applies. And if it doesn't jive, if it doesn't apply, then definitely tell me that you said this, but really that's not true. Because I'm telling you, whatever Bhagavad Gita has said, if that is not true, then I don't know what is. So what I'll do is I'll send this off to Prem Sai and he will get the chart ready and all. And next week we'll complete, and then there will be a break because of the long weekend. And so we can start discussion after the Easter weekend. So because that Easter weekend, there will not be a class. So you'll get 2 whole weeks to study. And like our Acharya used to always tell us, if you pick, say, verse 1, 2, 3 or whatever, that doesn't mean that, oh, I studied 1, 2, 3, who cares about that? It is not like that. It is that you should have a general idea of all the verses. And then you get a chance to also, if one verse is explained by one person, you can say, I also have this, this is also my understanding, and this is what I'd like to say. So you get a chance to talk again. Okay, so we will finish next Sunday, and then we will take a break, and then after that we'll start. Any questions? All okay? All right. Okay. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam shobharayita brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. Carry on, everybody, and I will see most of you tomorrow.